My name is Graham Saunders. I was born on Kenmore Drive, Whipsey, in August 1941. I started riding a bike at 8-year-old with the Telegraph and Argus Cycling Club, which was a short run. It's where Broadway is today. We used to set off from there and go to various sort of places around Shipley, Baildon and over to Halifax. My first race was in 1956 up at the Duke of York in Ollerton. It would have been Wednesday the 5th of September. That's Johnny Mapplebeck. He went to live in Canada and he lived until 101 years old. That's me, and that's Pete Holden, he used to run the shop. And that's a friend of Johnny's, and that's Dudley Ayton from Baildon and Mick Morrison's from Stoke-on-Trent. Johnny Mapplebeck was born the 16th of May 1919 in Huddersfield. He started off 80 years ago this year building Whittaker Mapplebeck frames at Ingleby Road. And then Johnny left and went to work for Jeff Wood building Pennine. That was in December 1951. And then the two companies merged in 1956. Which was Whittaker Mapplebeck Limited, Pennine Cycles and Pennine Accessory Company. There was various bike shops around where there was all the frame building. We were on Ingleby Road, and I used to go down there, and Johnny asked me if I'd like a job frame building, so I went there in April 1957. Well, you use it to keep everything in line. There's clamps where you put the tubes in. And so they've got a completely neutral frame, while other people were just building them with straight edges and then bending them into shape. Even Rolly were doing that. Well, one that's into neutral frame, if you sawed it in two or sawed the tube, it would spring out of shape. We still use the same jig. The original jig was Whittaker Mapplebeck jig. It's 80 years old now. It was built by on Wetter Lane, the jig, just near where the shop was. Knowles Engineering was the name of the firm that built the jig. Well, the reason they came is because they knew that they were the best. Because they were a neutral frame. In them days it was steel. Reynolds tubing or Columbus tubing. Although the one I built for Burrow, that was Vitus tubing. There was always the Reynolds 531. Then years later they went on to the SL, which wasn't very good. And then they got the 753s, which had to silver solder those. And then in 1992, it's 853, which is the best steel ever. But it varies, it's what you call double butted. So it's thicker at the ends than what it is in the middle. Even on the outside, it's probably less than a 1/16 of an inch. That's why they are so light. Well, we had a lot more equipment early on. We used to have a mitering machine to shape all the loads, and we had a Myford lathe to make all the brazing pieces. A lot of it was working on the bench, and Johnny sprayed the frames, and May, Johnny's wife, she used to do all the shot blasting. And then May also put the transfers on and did all the lug lining. And also there was a template to design the frames. Shot blasting, you put it in a cabinet. You've got a gun, then you've a thing that you press to get the shot to come out, and that cleans everything up. We then have to sort of polish all the lugs up, file them down and polish them all up to make them smooth. MIG welding is for aluminium. I don't ever built one because aluminium bike. We used in them days mainly just brazing. Then for the welding we used nickel bronze. Probably the best is when Nencini won the Tour de France, but we could never talk about it. But John and me, we used to have a code which we used to say if Nencini was an Inglese, he'd be on Pennine. There was only Ron Kitchen, John and me knew what that meant because it could never be divulged. Yeah, one of my proudest moments is when I won the Girlington Kermesse on the 1st of March 1959. And that was the first race ever run under BCF rules. Well, I'm not building it. I haven't built one since 2017, so I aren't building them now. But it wasn't up till then. But Columbus as well. Whatever the customer wanted, that's what I used. I'm 84. I'll be 85 in August. Well, nobody's learnt it, so there won't be anybody. She'll disappear and they'll all have to ride carbon bikes. I don't really know whether there will be a future, possibly, but unless the next generations take over, it's the end of them, like a lot of things.
Any final things you'd like to share into the camera, next generation, anyone watching this in 20 years' time?
Be careful when you're riding these dangerous bikes today.